Hello, family. Trust you've been great. So, something I've been meaning to talk about because it's what affects a whole lot of people is insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is the foundation for most of the metabolic issues that people are dealing with, as well as the foundation for many chronic conditions, things like type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, abnormal lipids profile, excess visceral fat, even some types of cancers. Hence, I always tell people if you can fix your insulin sensitivity, you would have conquered, if not all, but at least almost all your metabolic and even health issues. Insulin resistance results from consistently consuming high insulin response foods several times throughout the day, thereby chronically spiking your blood sugar round the clock. Now, here's the thing. When you eat carbohydrate, the digestive system breaks it down into glucose, blood sugar, which then enters the blood. And as blood sugar levels rise, the pancreas produces insulin, a hormone that prompts the cells to start to absorb the blood sugar for energy or for storage if you don't have immediate use for energy. And as the cells absorb blood sugar, the levels in the bloodstream will begin to fall. Within 2 hours of eating, your insulin and blood glucose levels should return to normal. Now, to maintain optimal blood sugar levels, you should allow your blood sugar rest for at least 4 to 5 hours without causing a spike before your next meal. This is a very normal process, right? Blood sugar spiking, your pancreas releasing insulin, those are actually normal process. Assuming you are doing it the right way, assuming you are eating when you should eat, assuming you are leaving the right gaps in between meals is actually a very normal process. Unfortunately, most people don't let that happen. They don't give that proper gap in between meals. So, before blood sugar falls after a meal, they are spiking it again by constantly snacking on one thing or the other throughout the day. 1 minute they're taking a cup of a beverage, the next minute they're taking a cup of juice, the next minute they're snacking on bananas, the next minute they're snacking on a bowl of watermelon, the next minute they're eating white bread, the next minute, you see, in such a way that they never give the blood sugar any opportunity to rest. So blood sugar remains constantly elevated throughout the day. At some point, the cell's sensitivity to insulin becomes weak because you are constantly it's like you playing pranks on someone, like you become known as a prankster. So when you actually need help, nobody responds to you. So here are your cells with adequate energy. Your liver, your muscles, everywhere has adequate energy, but then you are constantly bringing in energy, and then here's insulin trying to open the doors to the cells to pull up blood sugar from the blood after you have had a meal. Blood sugar, the energy that the cells, the muscles, the body does not need at that point. Do you understand? So at some point, the cells no longer starts to respond because you are always giving them the prompt to absorb energy when they don't need energy. That communication becomes weakened, resulting in constantly elevated blood sugar levels, which will further lead to from insulin resistance to prediabetes, to type 2 diabetes, to heart disease, and all other complications, abnormal lipids profile, and so many other complications. So just to mention again, I did say before that blood sugar spikes isn't really bad. It's part of the natural process through which your body distributes energy from your food to fuel the cells to carry out basic functions. It becomes a problem when it's chronically done several times per day And when blood sugar remains elevated for more than 2 hours without giving blood sugar the opportunity to rest at all, and then introducing another meal while your blood sugar is still elevated. So, chronically spiking blood sugar throughout the day weakens the communication between your cells and insulin. Remember that I said insulin is what gives access to your cells to taking glucose from the blood for energy when you eat. But when you are constantly spiking blood sugar throughout the day, that access, that communication between insulin and your cells becomes weakened in such a way that your cells no longer respond as they should to insulin. Insulin resistance is a major cause of impaired glucose tolerance. That is when you become pre-diabetic, and then further progression to the development of type 2 diabetes and other metabolic issues, which will further lead to several health complications. Now, in the near future, I'm going to be talking about 3 things I would also, in fact, I have a lot of things lined up, but then 3 things I'll be tackling is how to reverse insulin resistance, how to deal with belly fat, visceral fat, and intermittent fasting. But I would hang it up for now. Talk to you soon.